But like I said, the first things that the guitar player in the beginning usually learns would be chords. And chords are basically just multiple notes played at the same time. So I showed you 4 chords yesterday to start with, and those would be the only 4 chords you will need to play Hey Soul Sister. And so let's just review what those 4 chords were. So we started with the C major chord, or quite simply called C chord. So to play that, we will not be playing the 6th string. That will be silent when you're playing a C chord. You start with the 5th string, this 5th string. You put your it's usually played with the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, right? Your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, right there. And your the 3rd string is open. You let it ring. And the 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, there, right? And then the 1st string, the one on the bottom, is open. So, right? And like I said, you will need to practice forming that chord and making sure that each string that needs to be played rings out and sounds out properly, right? So from the 5th string all the way down to the 1st string, everything needs to be sounding out except as I mentioned, the 6th string. So right, no impediments to the sound on any of those strings. Okay, so that's your C chord. And that's of course on your handout, C major. The next chord was a G major chord. The one I taught you last night was, I think on your handout, was named G major chord alternative, or G major alternative. Is there a number of ways to play this, the basic form of the G chord. So G would be, take your 2nd finger, put that on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, right? So this time you're going to be playing the 6th string for the G. Your 1st finger will be on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and your 3rd finger will be on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Okay? That's your G. And again, make sure everything sounds, no finger impedes the sound of any other string other than the one it's pressing. So, for instance, open, 3rd fret. Okay, again, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, 3rd. And then all of them are sounding out. Okay, so that's your G chord. So 3rd would be your A minor, which I think you had the least problem with in terms of playing last night. To play the A minor, again, for A minor, you are not going to be playing the 6th string, so that will be silent. The 5th string will be open. Okay. The 4th string, you will put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Your 3rd finger will be playing the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So again, A minor, open on the 5th string. Your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Okay, your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. There. And your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string here. Right? Okay. That's your A minor. Open, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, open. Again, everything sounding out without any impediments to any strings. So C, G, A minor, and A minor. So A minor and F. So the last one would be F, right? The F, the simpler version that we learned last night, started out with your first finger kind of putting a bar on the first fret of the first two strings, right? So it's pressing both of those strings at once. Okay, so it's kind of flat there. And then you take your second finger and put that on the second fret of the third string. And then your third finger is on the third fret of the fourth string. And then the other two, the fifth and the sixth strings, these two are just silent. Right? So that's your F major. I think on the handout, I put that as the F major alternative. I mean, it's labeled as F major alternative on that handout. So again, the 4 chords that you will need for the song in the next video: C, G, A minor, and F. Okay, so just a final thing for this video, before we go on to the next one, is the exercise that I suggested, which is to take your chords that you're learning, for instance these 4 chords, and then form them. And I would suggest to take 2 exercises in one. You form your chord, let's say the C, and then make sure everything is sounding. Play them one by one. Play all the strings one by one. So for the C, from the 5th string all the way down to the 1st string, make sure everything is sounding properly. Right? Okay, so you form that chord, you lift it up, and then you put it back on. You lift it up, you put it back on, and when you put it back on, try it again if it's still sounding properly. And you can do that for all the chords so that your finger muscles get more accustomed to forming the chords in mid-air, right? Okay, lift, put it back, lift, put it back. And at certain times when you're putting it back, make sure that everything is every string that you're meant to play is making a full sound, right? Lift, put it back. Lift, put it back. Same for A minor. A minor, starting from the 5th string all the way down, you're not playing the 6th string. You form the chord, make sure everything sounds out properly. You lift it, you put it back. Lift, you put it back. So that you get accustomed to making the chords very fast when you're well, that will help you when you're shifting from C to G, right? Because you're accustomed to in mid-air knowing where those fingers should land, and when they land, making the proper sound. Okay, so I know that was a lot, but I suppose that's just how it is when you begin with the most basic stuff. You don't have to remember everything right away, of course, but as you keep repeating these things, they will come more naturally to you as you go along, which is why we made this video, because in the beginning it's hard to memorize all of them. So at least you can just keep rewinding the video, right? Okay, so on to the next video where we'll play Hey Soul Sister. All right.